Alright, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of... Oh, what the heck? Welcome to the very first episode of the Charity Prediction Challenge for the Blast Bounty, as you can see right here. So let me give you guys a quick rundown of the rules if you didn't watch the previous video. I'm going to go through every game for the Blast Bounty, for round 1 at least, because those are the only games we have, those are the only games we have right now. And I'm going to be giving you guys my 2 cents on them and predicting a winner. For every one of those predictions I get wrong, I'm going to be adding $1 to a pot, and then at the end of the event, I'm going to be taking all that money that was in that pot and donating it to charity. Without further ado, let's just get right into it.
Hey guys, it's your boy Craig, the disembodied voice, here to clown on this fool when he fucks shit up. So as you can see, the original idea Skew had was to draw the logo for each team on the board, but he forgot he sucks at drawing and it would be too much work, so he decided to just be lazy and write the names instead.
Alright, so our first game is going to be OG versus Foot. Now, for a lot of these games, it's going to be a little bit difficult to predict the winner. It's basically just going to be giving my best guess because, this is the first event of the season. It's the first game for the season for a lot of these teams. However, I don't think you have to be a genius to know that OG most likely isn't going to be winning this game because they only just put together their 5-man roster like a month ago. And Foot showed some really good results last year. They have been together for a very long time, and I think that those 2 factors alone are just going to, they're going to be able to destroy. They're going to be able to defeat an OG that only has just come together. Now, give OG some time, put some reps under their belt, give them some wins. Maybe if they are able to upset Foot in this game, who knows what they can do in the rest of the event, but I think that in this game, Foot should come out on top. Alright, so our next game is Eyeballers versus FaZe Clan. So if there's one thing I can guarantee from this game is that it's going to be absolute cinema. Like we have the return of JW, return of Swedish CS versus FaZe Clan, and we all know that FaZe Clan is just the absolute content team. They make every game they play interesting, at the very least. But, as long as Brokey and Jacob decide to play this game with their monitors turned on, it should be a clean sweep for FaZe. It shouldn't be too hard for them to defeat Eyeballers. Okay, so our next game is Fnatic versus Astralis. The Hate Watchers are gonna love this game. We got the Cypher Slayers versus the Broke Baddies over here. We really have, just 2 teams that no one wants to win anything, really. So, this game is really going to be... This game is a real coin toss. I could see it going either way. It could be a stomp one way, it could be a stomp the other way, it could be an overtime affair in all 3 maps. Who really knows? It could be... who knows, man? But if I really had to put my money where my mouth is, which is the entire point of this challenge, I guess I would have to put it on Fnatic winning, but I don't know, man. It could really go either way. Alright, so we got Hotu versus Aurora up next. Norbert is the GOAT. Easy win for Hotu. Not even close. Should be... Okay, I'm not kidding. No, but, we've seen Aurora struggle the last couple months of last year. Hotu, the one big event that they were able to play, I believe it was PGL Astana last year. They did pretty decent, from what I can remember. Oh shit. From what I can remember in that game, or in that event, Hotu, they were pretty good, and now they made Norbert a permanent addition to the team. I feel like that's pretty good. Yet again, another team that I think has some serious potential in the 2026, but, Aurora, they benched Jota. I feel like that's kind of the best move they probably could have made. We'll see if Soulfly is the right fit for them, but either way, I think Aurora should be able to beat Hotu. But I wouldn't be really surprised if Hotu's able to make this game interesting. I would not be surprised at all. Okay, so I really have to be careful with what I say here, because Gamer Legion follows me on Twitter. Believe it or not, if you don't believe me, you can go check. They follow me on Twitter. So I would like to keep it that way, but I'm gonna try and be as unbiased as possible here. Okay. Passion UA, if you remember, back at the Budapest Major, they played some really good Counter-Strike. They were really, really impressive to watch. But also, you have to remember that this is the old Complexity core, and if you remember anything from Complexity, that they are able to just snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. So any game that they are looking like they can win, they could easily just throw it away. So easily. Gamer Legion, on the other hand, they were able to get 3rd place at Fragadelphia Miami last week. And that was with a stand-in. They had to play with ZTR instead of PR. And they got that over M80 as well. So assuming that PR is playing in this game, but also you have to think that Ash isn't their coach anymore, so he's not going to be standing behind them during this game, while TC, the coach of Passion, has been the coach of these guys, the Passion guys, for a very long time. You know, again, this is going to be a close game, I already know, but I'm going to have to give it to Gamer Legion, not just because they follow me on Twitter, I'm totally not biased, totally not at all. I think that Gamer Legion is going to win on like firepower alone, but again, could be a very close game either way. Alright, so we got NRG versus Heroic. Now, if you asked me like a month ago who was going to win this game, I would give it to Heroic, and you know, over the offseason with the moves that Heroic has made, I would probably say this game is more or less even, until last week when NRG won that Frag Miami event, and you know, they're playing in that Flaw Mythic land right now, and they're doing pretty good. So you know, they're not messing around this year, so you know, they've been hitting the ground running. So I would honestly, on momentum alone, also with the questionable choices when it comes to the roster moves that Heroic has made, I'm going to give this one comfortably to NRG. I think it's going to be I think this is going to be a pretty good start of the season for NRG, and Heroic's going to be struggling a little bit. Alright, so we got Monty versus Navi. Monty is going to be playing this game with Rainwaker. I'm not sure if he's going to be like their permanent 5th, or it's going to be just a stand-in. They had to play with Rainwaker because they gave Ryu, or however you pronounce his name, to Astralis. You know, it doesn't really matter who they're playing against here. I think that Monty is probably going to lose no matter who really they played against. But Na'Vi, we all remember what they did at the Budapest Major against Furia. That incredible game that they played. It shouldn't be too hard for Na'Vi to win this game. Should not be hard at all. Do I even need to say anything? Come on. It's Vitality. Come on. It's not even going to be close. It's not even going to be close. Alright, so we got M80 versus Gentle Mates up next. And I would say this would be an easy win for M80 if I was a liar. Because, man, after M80 picked up JBA for Hexed, they've just been struggling a lot more than they should be. You know, I feel like getting rid of Hexed was just the wrong move. You know, I still think M80 is going to win this game, but they're gonna struggle more than they should, right? And you know, I wouldn't really be surprised if they end up getting upset here. I still want to say that M80 is going to win, but it's gonna be more of a battle than it really should be. Alright, so we got Inner Circle versus 3D Max. I remember when Inner Circle was Team TNL, Team Next Level, at the previous Blast Bounty. They were like a really exciting, up-and-coming team of youngsters. They took a map off of Navi, if I remember correctly. But they really haven't done a whole lot since they joined Inner Circle. And, you know, 3D Max, ever since having Maka step away from the IGL role and giving that role to Gravity, they've just been playing a whole lot better, you know? So it should be easy work for the French to put the Ukrainian boys away. Sorry to say, but, you know, them's the breaks. Okay, so we got NIP versus Liquid. Now I'm gonna tell you something right now. I am the biggest Team Liquid hater you will ever meet. This is gonna be an easy win for NIP. No explanation needed. Let's move on to the next. Alright, I'm gonna tell you something else right now. I am also a Team Falcons hater, but I'm not crazy, okay? I'm not insane. Team Falcons should easily beat Ecstatic. Not, you know, shouldn't be too, you know, Monacy alone should be able to beat Ecstatic. Alright, so we got ENCE versus Perivision up next. Perivision was a very impressive team to watch at the Budapest Major, and with the addition of Zwei, I feel like they're only stronger now because, you know, Zwei showed on Spirit that, like, in that major, in that playoff, that they were a force to be reckoned with, right? And he was, you know, a really strong player. And I feel like that's just only going to make them even more dangerous to play against, and I'm sorry, ENCE, but, you know, better luck next time. Perivision gonna wipe the floor with you. Alright, we got Sinners versus Spirit up next, and, you know, it's really cool to see that Sinners was actually able to make it to a Tier 1 event. They've been trying so hard to get into, like, ESO Pro League through the Challenger League, and it's, like, it's honestly so cursed that, like, you know, if like, Challenger League gives 2 slots to, like, the top 2 from Challenger League Europe go to Pro League, they come 3rd. If it's just the number 1, they come 2nd. Like, they're never able to actually make it through to Pro League from Challenger League. But hey, they're here in Blast Bounty, but their first event is a single elimination event, and they have to play against Spirit in their first game. That's just really unfortunate, you know, because Donk is just gonna donk all over them, and it's not gonna be pretty. Okay, so yet again, same as ENCE, better luck next time. But again, it's not even gonna be anywhere near close for those guys. Okay, we got Bet Boom versus Pain, and honestly, I don't even know what to say up for this one. I feel like no matter who I pick for this game, I'm going to be wrong. Like, Pain, they've had much higher highs than Bet Boom. That's undoubtable, right? Made it to the playoffs of the Austin Major. Was at the Budapest Major. Bet Boom wasn't even at that major, so Pain, like, kind of proved that they were, like, you know, the next best team behind Furia, but, like, they were in Tier 1 long before, like, they were in the discussion of being a top team, like, in the whole world, regardless of like, South America, before Furia picked up Molodoy and Yekindar, and, like, they just fell off so hard, you know, like, I don't know, man. And then Bet Boom, like, I like Bet Boom, right? I love Boomich. He's one of my favorite IGLs of all time, right? He's a great guy. I love him. But, you know, where have Bet Boom been, right? Like, what have they been doing? I don't know. I think Pain are gonna win this match, but like I would not be surprised if I'm wrong and Bet Boom win, and or either or we'll just have to wait and see on this one. And last but not least, we got 9 versus Furia. And, similar to Sinners, I feel bad for 9 because I think 9 is very much a sleeper team. They're, super solid, every event, the few lands that they get to play, like the Fragdelphias and stuff that they go to, they do very well. They seem like a really, impressive team. They play very proper Counter-Strike, you know what I mean? They're not making a whole lot of mistakes, right? When you watch a 9 game, you're watching a quality game of Counter-Strike, right? So I expect this game to be fairly good to watch from like a quality standpoint. I just think that Furia, being Furia, right, like #1 team in the world at the moment in terms of ranking, they had Molodoy Rookie of the Year. The HLTV Awards just happened today as I'm recording this video. Molodoy got the award. It should not be, in terms of like the score line, be close, but in terms of the quality of the game, it should be a good one. But yet again, 9. Better luck in another event. I'm sure you'll make another one. You guys are a good team. And that's it. That's all the games for round 1 of the Blast Bounty. I will put on screen on the board. I'll put on the board, here. I'll create 2 sections. Win, lose. I'll put the logos of each team in the winner pile or the loser pile on the screen now, so you can see who I'd predicted to win each game. And yeah, I'll be here for round 2. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.